to all Atmas and Namaskaram to my Atma Guru, who is driving me from the back and asked to convey to the mankind as to how we can release our karmas and attain Jivan Mukti by fulfilling his God's third commandment. And in that respect, under government social responsibility, how we people all should join together, opposition people, to coordinately make the government to implement one of the important aspects of providing house for all. So every person in this country, in this world, has got right to live with self-respect. Today, if you see in our country, now it is over 140 crore population, and out of this, we can categorize people according to their economic status. So in that respect, the lowest strata of people falls under category beggars. Throughout the country, if you see beggars, they form certain percentage of population. Street dwellers, then the nomads. Nomads means people who are like sannyasis, they are moving in the streets and they sleep somewhere. Like that, nomads also, they from one place to another they will be traveling. These kind of people, they make one of the percentage of population. Besides this, the routine family members falls under people below poverty line, lower middle class people, middle class people. They form under the lower strata. Upper middle class people and rich people, now we are not considering because they got the economic power to buy their house on their own and have house for themselves. Today, under government social responsibility, what we people should raise to the government to implement this house for all policy. See, if you see, most of these lower strata people, they live mostly come to the cities from their native village because of want of source for their livelihood. They come to cities. If you see people from Bihar come to Delhi for livelihood, and they do the menial job like rickshaw pullers. The ladies go to house as housemaids. They work like this and live on the small income what they make. These kind of people fall under people below poverty line. They live in slums. And the beggars, as you know very well, they do begging and live in the street platforms. Nomads, they live in some temples or outside or sleep. You can see in the night time people sleeping in the platforms or shelters like this. But we ignore them. People ignore them. Police ignore them. Police sometimes what they do, they lathi charge them and stun them, make them to run away. But where they can go? They don't have any shelter to live. Have you thought, as a social being, have you thought how they live, where they live? Nobody has no time to think about all these things. But they also form part of our society and they are also the God's children. What is the step we are taking for them to live a peaceful life and have self-respect in their living? So, as far as the people below poverty line or lower middle class and middle class people, they come to cities and work, make small income. Some people work in houses and make a monthly income. But with this monthly income, they cannot own their house. So they take on rental premises and pay rent. After meeting the monthly rent expenses to meet the monthly provision, monthly vegetables, milk, then school fees, all these things eat away their entire income. In fact, many of the people, they live on borrowing and repaying at once they get the salaries. And especially when there is any health problem in the family members, they have to borrow outside funds. And even when there is any marriage functions or when they have to attend any important functions, they have to borrow funds. So most of the time, these lower strata people, they struggle for living their monthly meeting the monthly expenses, and they mostly live under debt all through their life, and they cannot think of buying a house on their own. So today, if you go to any bank for getting housing loan, What they ask is, you bring 3 years income tax return and bank statement and guarantors. Besides, they take the flat on mortgage, even they ask for some guarantors. And these kind of people, mostly this rickshaw pullers, coolies, these laborers who get daily wages or weekly wages, like tailors or this masonry people, involved in house building. Well, how they can get income tax? And they're mostly not educated. They don't know anything about income tax, other things, and they won't have any pay slips. Such kind of people, how they can get houses? How they can approach banks for getting house to buy? So when they don't have funds to meet their monthly expenses and they are borrowing funds for meeting the monthly commitments, where they can think of buying a house. And even in the rented premises also, sometimes they could not able to pay the rent regularly, and the house owners throw them, ask them to evict, and they go in search of houses, and the entire life goes in search of houses like this, and they live in a very what you call a life of fear of where to live. Like this situation is prevailing. So everybody has got right to live a peaceful life with self-respect. In that respect, government has got one of the important duties to see that its children, that is people, live with self-respect. In that respect, government should take the initiative of providing house for all policy, where these lowest strata people has to be taken care of in hard manner. So government should construct for beggars, street dwellers and nomads. They should construct shelters, house shelters for these people to live in that place and provide food for them. As I told you, food for all, there should be provide food for them, and they should be used for according to the age. Or elder people they cannot do, but younger people they can be used for in government projects on daily basis, daily wages like that. And as far as the people below poverty line who are living in slums, they should be provided with free houses under slum clearance, below poverty line slum clearance houses for living a decent living. Or they can collect a small amount as what they can pay as rent. They can take it as a monthly EMI commitment like that. Small money, small amount they can take. And similarly, this lower middle class and middle class, government should construct the LIG and MIG flats, which earlier they have been constructing. Now it has been stopped because after this coming into this private builders, government has stopped this constructing this LIG MIG flats. So government should take that initiative to construct LIG and MIG flats throughout the country for providing for these lower strata people, especially small lower middle class and middle class people who cannot afford to take housing loans because of their small income. So whatever rent they are paying, government should take it as an EMI and keep the property under mortgage with them. And until the period the entire EMI is paid, they can keep it under control. And after the entire EMI is paid, they can hand it over the ownership to the this MIG, LIG owners. So this gives them the cushion for these lowest strata people for having a decent living with self-respect. And this also improves the economic status of the people because they are now the house owners, and with their income they can able to manage their housing requirements. Of course, they can live in own house, a dream which was earlier a dream for a lifetime. It now becomes a reality. Government can make their dream into reality by giving them their own house. So the government should make all the lower strata people live in their own house by introducing this house for all policy. To make this government to implement this house for all policy, we people of the entire citizens of India, as opposition parties, the media should raise our voice to government to implement this and make this house for all a reality, and make this build a economic status of the people and also build a developed India. Thank you.